The skies above Washington, D.C. are usually filled with air traffic, but on January 29, 2025, tragedy struck. American Airlines Flight 5342 collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. Both aircraft crashed into the icy Potomac River, carrying 67 souls. The American Eagle flight was approaching Reagan National Airport. The Black Hawk was on a routine training exercise. Their paths intersected in a horrifying instant. Witnesses saw fiery wreckage plummet into the Potomac. The impact shook homes and businesses miles away. Emergency responders rushed to the scene. Darkness fell, and hope of finding survivors dwindled. The early hours following the crash were a blur of frantic activity as rescue workers battled frigid temperatures and treacherous currents in a desperate search for survivors. Boats scoured the debris field, their searchlights cutting through the darkness, while divers plunged into the icy depths, hoping against hope for signs of life. The recovery effort quickly shifted from a rescue mission to a somber recovery operation. Each passing hour brought the heartbreaking confirmation that there were no survivors. Families of those on board clung to each other for support, their faces etched with grief and disbelief as they awaited news of their loved ones. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, immediately launched an investigation into the cause of the collision, a complex task made even more challenging by the condition of the wreckage. Investigators will examine air traffic control recordings, radar data, and the mangled remains of the aircraft, painstakingly piecing together the events leading up to the tragedy. The investigation will likely take months, if not years, to complete, as experts strive to provide answers to the agonizing questions surrounding the crash. Among the victims were passengers from all walks of life, each with their own story to tell, their own dreams yet to be fulfilled. A group of young figure skaters returning from a national competition in Wichita, their futures brimming with promise, were tragically lost. A family returning from a vacation, their laughter and memories silenced forever. A businessman on his way to an important meeting, his briefcase containing plans and aspirations now scattered among the wreckage. The crash also claimed the lives of the dedicated crew members aboard both aircraft. The pilots of American Eagle Flight 5342, experienced aviators with families of their own, perished alongside the flight attendants who dedicated themselves to ensuring the safety and comfort of those in their care. The 3 soldiers aboard the Black Hawk helicopter, their lives dedicated to serving their country, met an untimely end while performing their duties. The loss of life in this tragedy is immeasurable, leaving a void in the hearts of families and communities across the nation. The young athletes, their potential cut short, will forever be remembered for their talent and dedication. The families torn apart by this tragedy will carry the weight of their grief, their lives forever changed by this senseless loss. In the wake of this tragedy, the nation grapples with grief and searches for answers. Why did these 2 aircraft operating in some of the most heavily regulated airspace in the world collide? Was it a tragic confluence of events, a moment of human error, or a systemic failure that could have been prevented? As the investigation unfolds, the nation will demand answers, seeking to understand how such a tragedy could occur and how to prevent similar incidents in the future. The NTSB will face intense scrutiny as it examines the evidence, its findings carrying the weight of public expectation and the hope of preventing future tragedies. The crash of American Airlines Flight 5342 and the Black Hawk helicopter is a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of air safety. As we mourn the victims and offer support to their families, we must also demand accountability and strive to learn from this tragedy. Only through a thorough investigation and a commitment to implementing necessary safety improvements can we hope to prevent such a devastating loss of life from happening again.